Hey, all right, right on. Thanks for joining, everyone. This is going to be another late stream. I'm here late again. Hey, unknown unpopular user, thanks for joining. Yeah, last minute. I thought I would be ready, but yeah, like every time, a little bit behind. Thanks for joining, James, unknown unpopular user, and everybody. Good to see you all. So I have half a decent stream set up for today, but I'm still in the process of getting that set up. So just bear with me. How is everyone doing today? Hope everyone's having had a good day and is now having a good evening. If we're all in a similar time zone. I've had a good day catching up. Hey Jason. Hey Sawyer. Right on. How are you, man? Good to see you. Pop out chat, just adding the chat to the stream, just doing things on the fly. I got a second monitor set up just so I have something to share with you all. Because I'm doing this off my laptop, I still have a desktop, which is in a pile here, and I'm now collecting it, just getting it ready to be put together again. So I was thinking maybe if I ended up staying super late, I might do a PC build this tonight. Like I tore the whole thing down. So that would be interesting to see. Right on. So I got a little bit of progress, actually, like a substantial amount of progress on the NES game. One cool thing I want to talk about, actually a few cool things I want to talk about. So I'm glad Toy Warp and Unknown Unpopular User is here, because yeah, there's been a few updates and advancements, and I've been wondering like, how do I release this game? Bear with me, I had to move my chair out of here. Right on. So, yes. There you are. I had some really interesting advancements on the game. Just got to do like hardware stuff now that that we're getting into that part of the development. I should have some development stuff here. It's just over there. I'll go grab it. But yeah, I'm having some new interesting development with the hardware. So because I figured I want to expand the game, here I am talking technical stuff again. Because I wanted to expand the game with some RAM memory, which hasn't actually been done before. But the whole concept is that this game was released in 1986. What was available at the time was the original mapper, which the Super Mario Bros. Original game was released on, and then the one that the Transformers game was released on, CN-ROM. So those are the only two mappers that were available. That was the only two technology that was known on how to make an NES game at the time. So I want to use that at the time. I didn't want to get outside of my audio's on. I didn't want to go outside and like use things that weren't available at the time. I wanted to like get the whole flavor of 1986, everything about 1986. I wanted to stay within that realm, and I was able to do so. So that's really fun. One cool thing about that is I figured a way how to make some aspect of the game exclusive to console only, because it's a mapper that has not been used before, so no emulator has thought to utilize that structure. But the Nintendo would automatically use it because it's logic driven, so I could put whatever I want in the cartridge, and the console doesn't know any different. It's just going to read it like it's normal. And I can add a whole bunch of cool stuff. So I can add a whole half of the game into the cartridge version, the NES console version, and people won't be able to play that on emulator. So I was thinking, like, how can I release the emulator and make something exclusive to the physical release? I was thinking, okay, maybe some artwork, of course, in the cartridge itself. That's like, that's the incentive to get it. But what about the game can I make exclusive? So yeah, that's one cool thing. So I'm thinking maybe I could release the ROM, full ROM, to the wide market without the fear of getting that secret content unlocked, because it's absolutely secret unless you take the cartridge apart. And I'll release some clearer cartridges. I have plans for designs and the colors and things like that for the cartridge. So unless you disassemble and reverse engineer the technology, I'll release all the content anyways, all the schematics anyways. But unless you're like following that, you won't be able to play that on a computer. So I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty happy about that. Thing I wanted to talk about was, how do I release this in a public stream? I think Unknown Unpopular User mentioned one time that I could, or asked if I could release it on Steam. Well, I'd like to release it on Steam, but it would be copyright because I'm using the name Transformers, and like you can't really release Romhacks necessarily. My original NES is hungry. Right on, you need some new games. So I'm making sure that this is a solid release, that in every aspect that it's going to be feeding those hungry NESs in the best ways possible. There's a lot of things to consider when making an NES cartridge. In fact, I wanted to pull up some content there that I found online about how to develop an NES game, because I thought that was really important. It was a lot of fun. It was really interesting. I could do a whole video on this, but just to give you a short concept of like how serious I am about this, I want to give you a little taste of what all goes into developing an NES cartridge, because it's pretty serious stuff. Display capture. How come that's not working? Oh, that's okay. So I've got two monitors. I have OBS software running on this thing. The battery is failing. Hope everything's okay with this. So because like you want the console to last, like these Nintendos have been around for whatever, 40 years or whatever. Like that's some serious stuff. You want it to last that much longer. So I think it's really important that I develop the physical hardware so that it doesn't cause any stress to the NES console in any way, shape, or form. Well, by the way, that's Toronto. I said that like I've never been to the place before. That's Toronto. Boy, that's a tight display, eh? Okay, that's no problem. Using a really old monitor. Yeah, that works actually pretty well. It's nice and big. So yeah, this is the dimensions of the cartridge, and I was considering how big to make the cartridge in there. Also, I wanted to save on money. I wanted to be able to reduce costs. I didn't say on Steam though. Okay. I forget what you mentioned. You mentioned online something, releasing online. I'll get back to that. So this cartridge has different sizes. The bottom line, this line here that I'm pointing at, that's like the size of the Super Mario Bros, the original Super Mario Bros. So there was only like 2 chips on here, and there was just enough room for those large chips. And then there was the next one, which has this edge broken out here. Now I can actually show you because I took the part back. I took apart this Transformers game, and inside, of course, we have the CN-ROM, and that's going to be that same shape there. It has that corner piece to add that little mapper chip. Now, what the mapper chip does, the difference between this and the original CN-ROM, is that this has additional graphics banks. So it's still solid 32 kilobytes of program memory, but the graphics memory, I could swap that 8 kilobytes to different 8 kilobyte sections and have multiple graphic pages, or banks. It's called banks. So because I'm adding a few more chips, I'm adding an additional mapper chip, and I'm adding a NAND chip to control between the RAM that I'm adding and the between the RAM and the program memory. So this is the program memory. So this has to fit in here somewhere, and there's definitely not enough room because I have 1, 2, 3 more chips I have to add because I have to add the lockout chip. So I'm figuring I go with the next step up here, get the whole row, and maybe add additional few millimeters without touching that hole here. And I think what the reason for that hole is because this is a Famicom cartridge. And as you can see, there's a hole in the center of this. And just that right distance between that hole, if you added like one of those converter boards inside, like some games have, Gyromite is one of them that comes to mind, Ice Climber I think too, that'll reach just the same length of the cartridge. So I think that's the whole purpose of that hole in the NES cartridge. Just happened to end up like that. So that's, oh, more importantly, the size, the shape. What's important is like the corners are cut, like really, not rounded, but they have to be chamfered 45 degrees to make it easier to slide in, make it align better. Also, the edge of the cartridge itself, like this wise, there has to be like a little bit of an angle. In fact, 30-degree angle, and it has to be about 0.5 millimeter to a full millimeter away from the edge. Let's see if I can get that, because that was pretty key to find this page. Like, I'm so glad that some people have already done the work out there. I could have gotten like an existing development board and made the game I'm doing a completely unique mapper, so that's not really possible. And B, I wanted to add some Easter eggs to the circuit board itself. So yeah, this guy's talking about just cartridges in general, but what's really important is the edge chamfer here. He mentions a few things that's really important, as well as like the gold plating on the cartridge, because that's going to wear down. Oh, right here, yeah, he's talking about the chamfer here, but you can see like the plating is different here. That's like probably just solder, nickel plating at best, and here we have some hard gold, which is what the official cartridges have. And it's important I get that same quality, because as you can see, these are worn down. You can see a lot of wear here, and it doesn't take very long for that to happen. Even the gold ones get worn down, but of course it's going to last essentially a lifetime. There's a difference between hard gold and soft gold. So I'm going all out, like top of the line, everything is top quality. Not going to make any mistakes. I'm going to learn from other people's mistakes is the point. And what I wanted to find here is that edge connector, this one here. So, oh sorry, not, so that's about point. Yeah, that's 1 millimeter. I guess. Yeah, that's 1 millimeter. So 0.04 inches freedom units away from the edge is going to be that 30-degree chamfer. So that's going to make sure it slides in nicely. It's not going to damage that connector in there, because as we all know, these old consoles, and I didn't want to. Nobody wants them to get tired before it's their time. Got into repairing the NES console. Mine is fresh with new parts. No way! That is cool. That is really cool. Oh man. Yeah, I was looking at that because, of course, I'm looking into this PCBs, but just for the game cartridge. And then there was one website that was selling these development PCB repro game cartridges, and they had like the whole Nintendo circuit board. I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Maybe I could pick up a used one that's in rough shape and replace the circuit board. That's cool. You repaired your NES console. Yeah, those the connectors often need replacing. Like if you've used it enough, or let's say you had those 6-in-1 or multi cards, like they were pretty hard on the console. So that's dope. That's dope. That takes some special skills, and if you have like what do you call it? A vacuum soldering, a desoldering gun. That's what it is. Desoldering gun. That makes life easier if you're going to replace the components, like capacitors and things like that. Super cool. I wanted to get into that. I've never repaired an NES console. I've repaired all kinds of other consoles before, but never repaired an NES console. So excellent. Cool stuff. Could get some advice from you. And then I guess I could show you what I was looking at. Here's some research I was doing about the NES mapper, like when things were coming out. Someone looked up like the release date of when the first use of these cartridges. So, for example, NROM, first games is like launch games, Donkey Kong, Super Mario Bros. And CNROM, that's the one we're dealing with here with Transformers. That started in 1986 in April, and that's around the time when the development of the game got started. So that's when the promotional material started coming out, around summertime of 1986. The game was released in December of 1986, so it had that really short window of being released. Oh, here, you know what? I didn't even notice. 1986. Okay, I was just looking at sequentially. I didn't actually get into this. So okay, so GNROM was also released in 1986. GNROM, what this is, and I tried to utilize this for the game. So it's interesting that it was also available at the time. So GNROM, what the difference is instead of having hard-coded memory for the graphics memory, it's on a RAM chip, and that's banked in the graphics chip. That's very interesting. Like it takes that information and writes to the ROM chip, so that way you can utilize a bunch of additional area. But I found it was a little bit too cumbersome. I had to change the code, a lot of it, because just to make use of it. It was really difficult because there was so many changes I had to do, and in the end, it wasn't as efficient as I'd like it to be. Like I lost the availability. Oh, I was able to get an additional amount of program space, but I was only able to change 16 kilobytes at a time, and that made it a little bit inefficient. UNROM also was available. UNROM, if I remember right, UNROM used MMC1 chips. MMC1 chips were on the Super Mario Bros. 2 cartridge, I think. Instead of guessing, I'm just going to Google this. So, first NES game. Or rather, let's find a list of NES games with the MMC1. Oh, sorry, MMC1 was SROM. Okay, my bad. Oh, Mega Man. That's what usually I UN ROM. Okay, UN ROM Mapper 02 has a program capacity of 16 kilobytes and 16 kilobytes, so 32 kilobytes, just like the CN ROM we're using. But the program capacity is huge, in fact, up to 4 megabytes. Of course, that wasn't existent at the time. I guess you could do it with multiple chips at the time, but maximum at the time would probably have been 256 kilobytes. So banks are program ROM banks, like we said, those are locked. And select program ROM bank for CPU. UNROM uses 2 bits. 2 bits? What? So emulator implementation of Mapper 2, treat this as a full 8-bit bank select register. Okay, this allows Mapper to be used for similar boards compatible to make use of 8 bits for 4 megabytes of program ROM. So okay, so you could change the program ROM, the program information, but I think the only sorry, this last bank is fixed, and so you could switch this 16 kilobytes banks. That's similar to what I was able to do with the GN ROM, but I also found that to be inefficient. So yeah, this isn't very far off from the CN ROM or the GN ROM, where it uses a discrete logic chip, a chip that's specifically used for like bit shifting or something like that, in order to utilize additional space on a chip, because the Nintendo's only really looking for a certain section of code. If you have a larger amount of code, then you have to utilize something additional in the cartridge, like a mapper chip, in order to use that space. Okay, that's my learning lesson. My intention this week, I really wanted to make a video this week talking about like my development for this game, where I started, where it's going, and what I had to learn in order to get to where I'm going, because I wanted to get a sponsorship from JLCPCB. I hope I said that right. Yeah, to get the first development boards to get us started. Yeah, it's on my mind. It's all written out. I just never had the opportunity to sit down and get things ready to make a video about it. So, yeah, I'm serious about the development of that circuit board. I want it to be very similar to what was happening in 1986, and definitely gonna make sure those cartridges are appropriate for NES consoles. Because I've seen like some other reproduction games and they're very poor quality, very not nice. Like you could release them, just looking, maybe it costs an extra 10-20 bucks. I think that's worth the effort. Oh, what's going on with the chat here? Sorry about that. So yeah, one cool thing that I figured I could do with that additional mapper chip that I'm using, I could get an additional program space that you can't get on an emulator. I'm going to include some really cool things in the game. Hopefully I can include a 2-player thing. I was thinking about that, and that's going to be a little bit tight with how much can happen on screen at a time. For example, you can only have so many bullets on screen, so having 2 players on at the same time, that's going to take some doing in order to figure out. But one plan I do have is to have like a fighting versus player versus 1 player versus 2-player match with with maybe some of the bosses that I make, and definitely Ultra Magnus and Rodimus fighting each other. That'll be fun. And also to have like additional sprites, because it lags a lot. Oh darn. Does it? Maybe I could do something about that here. Okay, I hope that's better. Oh, drop frames are huge. Huge drop frames. Okay, I hope that's okay. I had a bite of my steak. I cooked some steak for dinner. Always in a rush, and only had so much time to eat it. It's delicious steak though. Man, I haven't cooked a steak that good. So much garlic. I haven't cooked a steak that good in a long time. Yeah, so I'm getting to some interesting things for the game on NES. And then what I was looking at, if let's say I wanted to release the game on something like Steam. Well, of course I can't release a ROM hack on Steam because I took somebody else's work and I re-released it. Now it's not necessarily frowned upon in the ROM hacking community to release a game like that, like a ROM hack on a physical cartridge, provided that the game has not been in release since 10 years. So fortunately, the last time Mystery of Convoy was released was in 2015 on the Wii Virtual Console. It was 2015? Yeah, that's right, 2015 on the Wii Virtual Console. So it has been actually 10 years since it's been released. So I'm in the clear about that, but still, it's copyright Takara, Transformers name, all that. That's still licensed by Takara and Hasbro. So I couldn't get away with putting that on Steam, as it turns out. But let's say that like I changed the characters, and changed the sprites. Of course, a lot of the programming is customized anyways. I could release it if I had like my own characters. I was thinking I really love the character High Q, and I would love to incorporate a story with High Q in there if I could. And I don't think a toy for High Q has been released since 1988. The original Power Master Optimus Prime. So I think I'm in the clear. I think I'm in the clear with that. Right on, right on. Other exciting news. I talked to artist James Race. So let me find some artwork of James Race. I think maybe I brought this up on another stream. Maybe I brought it up when I was talking about TFCon. But I met James Race at TFCon, and we were talking about the game, and he said he'd be interested in doing some artwork for the game, commissioning some artwork for it. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did remember talking about it because he's the one that did the artwork for the Transformers Armada comics by IDW. And the story was that they locked like 8 artists in a room because they wanted to keep it a secret that they're working on the Armada comics. So this James Race, if you're familiar with this artwork, I had this comic. So I was selling Dreamwave comics at the time, and this was an incentive one. It was like a lenticular. It was like holographic holofoil or whatever, and it like folded out, and it was 2 comics, I think. Maybe it was 2 comics. In any case, sorry, it was 1 comic. Yeah, and it folded out. But in any case, I had it on my wall in Montreal, and I remember when I moved from Montreal, I left it on the wall. I thought, man, it'd be okay. I wouldn't be so sad about losing it, but now I'm really sad that I didn't take that comic with me. So if I'm going to release the game on Steam, I'd have to do everything custom. So that's what I was planning on doing. Part of the game, I started doing my own sprites. Like I made a custom Ultra Magnus sprite, I made some Optimus Prime sprites, I made some enemy sprites. And these are all my custom artwork, and if I used exclusively my own sprites in the game, as well as my own programming, and not use any of the Transformers names, then I can get away with releasing it on Steam. So I was thinking about that. Then if I were to release, like, if I were to move on in the future, maybe I would veer away from the Transformers licensed properties, but like they use explore some of the universe that the game already started with the planet Energo. I think it's called Energo. The planet that Ultra Magnus is on. It's in the instruction manual. So the instruction manual describes like some of the enemies as having some additional energy power from their planet, and that has supercharged the Decepticons into having energy, energo. Sorry, I'm gonna find that word because now it's gonna bother me. Is it energo? It seems so silly, but it is something silly like that. It's just like a pun on the word energy. Installation environment. You know what? I'm also running off of battery, so that's probably not helping my performance here. Yeah, given I've added so much expansion on the game that I'm gonna have some cool music in there too. Really, really wanted to add some cool music, and I'm finally able to get that in there. Fortunately. Energo. Enemies include not only familiar Decepticons. So I'm reading from the instruction, but the translated version right now. Okay, let's move this over. Oh, maybe that's a bad idea. It's too big. Enemies include not only the familiar Decepticons from Transformers, but also mechanical life forms that inhabit each stage, making the battles. It's not word wraps. Making the battles even more intense. The mechanical life form is an original character for the family computer cassette. This is literally written in the manual. Ultra Magnus will lose one life if he touches an enemy or is attacked. Scroll method and stage instruction. Okay, now I'm just really reading headers. So they are called. There was a couple of mangas that were tied into this game. Of course, I mentioned them before, but they didn't really talk about the actual enemies in the game. They talked about like Insecticons, Ultra Magnus Jr., which were other things that were being marketed at the time. Dinosaur. In order to love the earth and protect peace. Okay, I didn't get all of this pages translated, I guess. But okay, on page 3, this is the game prologue. It says, in order to love the earth and protect peace, the Cybertrons challenged the Decepticons to a fight. However, in the battle, the Cybertron's Supreme Commander, Optimus Prime, was injured and collapsed. The dying Supreme Commander of Cybertron, Optimus Prime, in case you forgot from the last sentence, appointed City Commander Ultra Magnus as the commander of Scramble City and handed over the matrix that had been stored in Optimus Prime's body. At the behest of Supreme Commander Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus bravely challenges the Decepticons to... Oh, did I not get it, or is that how it ends? I think that's how it ends. That's just kind of how Japanese writings go. Then challenges Decepticons 2. And then it's like you could daydream about the rest, or rather, you could play the game to find out the rest. So maybe it wasn't included in the manual itself, but they were written somewhere of what they were. I didn't see it on the TF Wiki either. I tried to include as much as I could from the TF Wiki if it was missing anything. Oh no, I'm missing chat stuff. Kid likes. Sorry. Oh no, I read that. Who is Haikyuu? Oh my god, who is Haikyuu? Who is Haikyuu? Are you joking me? So Haikyuu was the Power Master that came with Power Master Optimus Prime, and he actually played a relatively, I mean, it's a very small part, but it was an instrumental role in the Transformers comics from the 1980s. It was very interesting because Optimus Prime had died, presumably, and there was the coming of Unicron at the end there. So, Haikyuu, like they found that since the Haikyuu, the Power Master, had binary bonded with Optimus Prime, that he is Optimus Prime. Like he embodied the essence of Optimus Prime, which is very interesting because if you're reading the Skybound comics, and I might be spoiling this for some, but one of the humans, kind of like you could say, kind of becomes binary bonded with one of the Transformers. In a different way, in a new way. It's very interesting. Okay, I'm not going to say more than that because I'm going to spoil it. So I'm just going to look up for Haikyuu in Transformers comics. It's an amazing story arc written by Simon Furman. Really huge fan of what he did with the Haikyuu character. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite underrated characters, or one of my favorite underused characters. He's like my guy because, everyone has their guy. Some people, when Trailbreaker comes on the screen, they're like, yeah, look, I have Trailbreaker. They get out the Trailbreaker and they transform it as they're watching the show. I had Power Master Optimus Prime. And although Haikyuu never made it to the show, I always wish he would somehow end up in the show. He never did. Later I found out it's about licensing. I guess he did make it to the Master Force show, but I didn't find that out until I was a lot older. But he wasn't the same character. It was a completely different character, and I was a little bit disappointed. And so this is it here. And if you haven't read the Marvel comics from the 1980s, I'm sorry, but I'm going to spoil it. So essentially, Optimus Prime was gone, and all hope was kind of lost, and Haikyuu was kind of like, you know what? I am Optimus Prime, and using, I think it was the last Autobot, gave like a new body to Optimus Prime, and as you could, I guess you can't see in this panel, but he resembled like the cab mode of Power Master Optimus Prime with the blue arms. Essentially, he had blue arms. Oh, and like a pointy chest too, because that's how the Power Master Optimus Prime worked, with the pointy chest. Yeah, so to do a story with him would be a lot of fun. Would be very interesting because then I could do like a Return of Convoy. Ooh, spoilers. And you play as Haikyuu, or Haikyuu is like an instrumental character in there, and you bring Optimus Prime back. Maybe I shouldn't have talked so much about it because maybe it would have been fun to experience that through the game. But oh well, there you go. Spoilers. Oh, sorry, a little bit slow on I'm a little bit slow on the responding to the chat. There are a ton of fanfic characters out there to choose from. If you need characters, I'd love to see mine in the game. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Toy War. Let me guess. Is it a seeker? Well, if I'm pretty sure if it's a Decepticon, it's a seeker. If it's an Autobot, it's a nice 1980s car. Maybe something from Days of Thunder. But yeah, 100% toy war, for sure, for sure. Give a fanfic character. I would definitely love to include that in the story. Would love to, because the stories, we can go anywhere, any direction in the story. The game is about multiple universes and parallel dimensions and time travel on top of it, like literally time travel and different dimensions. So definitely all over that. What's cool about it is that I can go in any direction, any characters. So yeah, for a follow-up game, it would be nice to be able to follow up like a dimension that hasn't been seen before, used fanfic characters or characters that are no longer licensed by Transformers, like Haikyuu. I think I'm in the clear by using Haikyuu as a character in a video game. I was doing some research. I was trying to figure out about that. Haikyuu was like a toy. It was like a learning toy. It's like a robot. And I think kids interact with it. And it tells you like, this is what a cow sounds like. So that was released in the late 90s. And I'm not sure why Transformers never made the effort to get that license back for the name Haikyuu, but the only game, does it have to be that complicated to release this game? Sorry if it sounds weird. No. It does not have to be that complicated. It's a passion project. That's kind of why I'm expanding the scope of this game again and again, is because like I'm finding something interesting that I would like about the game, or maybe an aspect that I'd be interested in learning about the game and including that in the game, or learning about game development and including that in the game. Because it's not a major, it can't be a major release, as I was saying, like I can't release this on Steam or anything like that. So this is very much a passion project. And the only reason that I'm overcomplicating this is because I want it to be really cool. It doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. But tell me what you would like to see in the game, and I would love to include that. I would also love to have that released by December. And now that I've realized I want to include like an additional, like I want to expand the game to twice or maybe 3 or 4 times the size of the game. That's going to be tight, but it's doable. It's doable. So I'm going to look at the game like where I am come around like October, November, and I'm going to decide, okay, I'm going to have to cut this out, I'm going to have to cut this out. Some aspects of the game might not end up making it, but I do want to make it as cool as possible. Even right now, I'm developing the cartridge, and yeah, I'm doing it as cool as possible. Maybe I'll fix this. I'm trying to make it as interesting as possible. I'm trying to add as many Easter eggs as I can in the cartridge itself. Like I would like to have a red side and a blue side, so when you flip it over, although you can't see the PCB in the case, things get cut from AAA games every day. That's exactly how it is. That's kind of how it is. So yeah, my scope keeps expanding, but it's all when I get ideas of something I would like to see in a game, or something that I wished I saw that in a game, or that existed in a game, in a Transformers game, no less. I'm going to try and include it where I can. And if I can, if I go down that path and I realize, okay, that just doesn't work out, like I've gone through that process many, many times already. So even in this diagram here, I'm just trying to map out exactly where I'm going to put the chips. So this line is like, that's where a typical cartridge would end. and then the next size up would be up here. So I wanted to maybe go in between, add a line, make the top of the cartridge up here because it just reaches before that dot, so I don't have to worry about like positioning. Although I do have the dimensions, I just didn't want to have to deal with that hole there. I would like to have them in cool places so that I could have a logo in the top corner, and I would have like cool lines, like retro-futuristic circuitry happening. Like I want to make it nice and structured and oriented. And then I was also thinking on the back side, because I could put a silk screen on it, I would make it look like a cassette tape, like one of Soundwave's cassettes on the back. Hey, Proctor, how's it going? Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Everything won't be able to make it to this game. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. No way. No way. So another thing I was working on is how I was going to do Devastator. So I was thinking, so there was a scene in, was it the Devastation game? Yeah, it was the Devastation game. You're fighting Devastator behind a building. I was thinking about doing that because that way, like in the Donkey Kong game, Donkey Kong himself wasn't a sprite, but he was a background. So if I have him behind a building, and he's kind of like far away from the player, that's probably the direction I want to go in. So in order to make the best of having a large enemy and an animated enemy, maybe I'll cut off the bottom half of him. Maybe he'll be behind buildings and like destroying buildings. I think that's the way I'll go about doing that. Another thing is that the game might be a little bit lengthy now because that you can actually unlock a few things after you've beat the game 1, 2, 3, 7, up to 7 times. Different things happen. So I was thinking about adding a battery to the console, to the cartridge, to maybe save games. That would increase cost. But now that I think about it, I could do like what do you call it? A password system? That might be an idea. Yeah, maybe a password system would be a better idea to implement in the programming as opposed to having some battery on the hardware. It wouldn't be that much of a stretch because I already added the RAM chip, which is what the battery uses, which is what save games use. But they also use a battery. I'm doing good, DeceptiKitty. I have 2 new stop motions for you to watch. Sweet, sweet. Yeah, looking forward to that. Can't wait to see how the boss will work. Cool, 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 cool. I'll release some concepts there. I only have it in programming. I don't have any graphics done there. Is that Miss Minutes in the background? It is Miss Minutes. That's Lana's Halloween costume. That's what Lana was dressed as for Halloween for 2 years in a row. That was her Halloween costume. Thanks for noticing. Yeah, I was moving things around in my office because I'm still in the process of organizing my new office space. Oh, speaking of games, someone on Forza needs their ass whooped. I'm off. Great seeing you and thanks for the update on the game. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Toy War. Thanks for joining. Leave them in the dust, dude. Right on. Yeah, so Impactor has a new video, eh? Okay, or a couple of them, huh? Let's check these out. What was it called? One Shall Fall? Or there was a new 3D Transformers fan movie that came out. It was really impressive, really, really cool. I happened to catch it during its premiere, so I was there chatting with people watching for the first time. That was really cool. They were actually at TFCon. They had a panel talking about that. Hey, sorry, I had an internet thing. Yeah, I stopped. I'm so sorry. I hope I'm back. Thank you. My internet just died for a moment there. So I was looking up Impactor's website and I was wondering why it wasn't loading. Turns out my internet just died. So Impactor, tell me, what do we have today? Transformers Rise of the Beasts, calling all Autobots stop motion. And then we also have another Megatron versus Sideswipe, but that's an old stop motion. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay, maybe I'll play the Rise of the Beast stop motion. Is that cool, Impactor? Okay. Let me get this queued up here. Okay, sweet. Probably should have desktop audio on. And mute my mic. Let's watch.
This cannot be. Calling all Autobots! Calling all Autobots! Yippee-ki-yay.
Prime, this is RC. I have a visual. What am I looking at?
A way home. So there I am on the look.
Oh, we saw that one last week. Okay, what's the next one?
When out of nowhere. So, Autobot, did you come here to fight me or die?
Oh, Megatron, I came here to win. And I won't let you stand in our way.
Well then, Autobot, prepare to die! That's it, I've had enough of you.
Ha!
Well, after the 238th time, I have now officially been able to...
That's your question. Right on, that was dope. I've had enough of you. Slice. Love that. Oh yeah, I was wondering, you had some short tests there. Okay, let's have a look at these test ones that you have. Run Amok versus Blur, right? Run Amok versus Blur. Here it is. Wow.
Tetris is a game with a colorful history, and its entries on the Famicom NES platform.
Sorry. Don't copyright strike me. That's sick. That blur effect is really well done. Oh, I love that. Dope. Okay, that was just the same one.
Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Metroid,
Whoops. Excuse me. Dope, man. Love the way that looks. I love your style, man. That looked like the same video as the Run Amok versus Blur one. Dope, dude. When are you gonna do the whole Transformers Rise of the Beast movie? You know what I would like to see actually from Rise of the Beast was the battle between Mirage. Battle between Mirage and Scourge, where they're fighting at the end, and it's kind of like reminiscent of like the battle between Galvatron and Hot Rod and Unicron there. So yeah, that'd be cool. But keep it up, man. I have hiccups, man. Is there a trick for hiccups? Does scaring the hiccups out of someone actually work? Or does that just cause them so much stress they forget about the hiccups? I've been doing so much research lately for this Transformers game that I figured I may as well make an emulator for the purposes of releasing the game on Steam. Because of course Nintendo games aren't going to play directly on PC or Steam Deck. So if I release an emulator with it, okay, I can release a game on Steam, but it's going to be copyright. It's going to be hit with copyright because I can't use the name Transformers and Ultra Magnus and all that. So I want to release like maybe a similar flavor of the game with some of the characters that I did, and like I was mentioning, some fanfic characters, and release that on Steam just to get my feet wet with releasing a game on Steam. Then I figure, okay, if that goes well, then I'll write more NES flavored games and release that on Steam using the same emulator. My stream is not choppy, my voice is what's choppy. Excuse me. I didn't have a chance to go to the store. Right now, all stop motion plans have been moved to the 86 film. Yes, you heard me. I'm going to create the Transformers movie in stop motion. Right on, dude. Right on. Okay, that sounds awesome. Even better than the Rise of the Beast. That hits me in my nostalgia beans. My member berries. Hits me right in the member berries. I'm gonna play one more from Impactor Productions because I gotta go get a drink. I gotta put this on pause. I gotta stop with these hiccups. That's so silly. 1 second while I clean something up here. maybe we watch the 200 subspecial again. No, you have another one that I haven't watched in a while. The Transformers the movie Shuttle Launch. Oh yeah, yeah, an attack stop motion. Okay, so here's already a scene that you've worked on for the 1986 movie. Mr. Magnus has worked on now, and the 1986 Dinobots are on the way. Right on, right on. So you're gonna be having all the Dinobots in there. Slag included, eh? Not Slag, but Snarl. Snarl included, eh? Sweet. I'd love to see him in the movie. Okay, let's play this, and I'm gonna get a drink to clear these hiccups.
Ironhide, report to me at once.
Every time I look into a monitor, Prime, my circuits sizzle. When are we gonna start busting Deceptichops?
I want you to make a special run to Autobot City on Earth.
But, Prime,
Listen, Ironhide, we don't have enough Energon cubes to power a full-scale assault. Ready the shuttle for launch.
your days are numbered now, Decepticrates.
Jazz, report security status.
No sign of Decepticons here, Prime.
What about Moonbase 2?
Gas to Moonbase 2. Jazz to Moonbase 2.
Bumblebee and Spike here.
We're about to send up a shuttle. New Decepticon shenanigans in your area?
All clear, Jazz.
Hey, Ironhide, tell my son Daniel I miss him. And tell him not to worry. I'll be coming home as soon as we've kicked Megatron's tail across the galaxy.
Will do, Spike. Cliffjumper, commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast! Now, all we need is a little Energon and a lot of luck.
Laserbeak returns, Megatron.
Welcome, Laserbeak. Unlike some of my other warriors, you never fail me. Soundwave, play back Laserbeak's findings. As you command, Megatron. I want you to make a special run to Autobot City on Earth. But, listen, Ironhide, we don't have enough Energon cubes to power a full-scale assault. Ready the shuttle for launch. Now, all we need is a little Energon and a lot of luck.
More than you imagine, Optimus Prime.
Too easy, Starscream.
Much easier, almighty Megatron, than attacking the real threat, the Autobots' moonbase.
You're an idiot, Starscream. When we slip by their early warning systems in their own shuttle and destroy Autobot City, the Autobots will be vanquished forever. No! Such heroic nonsense.
Crazy.
Every account
Oh no, why? Why politics are coming on? All the time, that's all I get on my feed, and I tell it I'm not interested. Well, just because of what I watch news stuff, and I have to get politics along with that for some reason. It just seems like politics isn't necessarily news. I don't need to learn about politics. Like, it doesn't really affect my life. Especially, like, for example, Canadian politics are on summer break. Like, I don't want to hear about governments. Okay, so I just installed an NES controller, and let's see if I can get an emulator playing on stream, because I wanted to learn a little bit about some of the new Romhacks that are available this year for NES. Didn't have the time to get that up on stream. Wanted to talk about that, like just some of the other ROM hacks that are out in the wild this year. Oh, it's working. Yeah, it's working. Right on. So I was thinking about if I add like if I add a save state thing, then I would have to add something to the home menu. If I add something to the home menu, like what's the difference if I maybe just add like a password enter thing? Enter your password. That way you get to see. That way you get to like continue your game. What is it? Oh yeah, on the home screen. Because right now, well, I probably have to map the controller to the thing. Yeah, because right now, you could enter the Konami code, and then you can go to whatever level. But that's not going to get you, because you have to complete the game with the collecting the Alternium cubes and the time cubes. Oh, this is fun. Now I can actually play this with an NES controller. It's been a while since I've done this. I'm just setting up the button mapping right now. So B is on the left, is it? Okay. I never remember what button is where. It's all just muscle memory. You're planning on becoming a firefighter? What? That's cool. A lot of fires. We have another fire happening up in Canada right now. It's happening in British Columbia, like on the farthest west coast, and like I'm in Eastern time zone, and the fire's already happening over here. Okay. Do we have audio? No, right? Can I do something about that? Okay. Oh, there we go. I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything? Oh, that's sound. I think that's okay. Is it? Maybe that much? It's a little bit repetitive, so keep it low. Junior firefighter. I wonder what interested you to become a firefighter. A junior firefighter, not a real firefighter until 18. Well, that's cool. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A. Okay, so I don't want to start as... Yeah, I don't want to start with any power-ups. No power-ups, start from fresh. Start fresh. Okay, let's get my gaming mode here now. So yeah, no Magnus, no Rodimus rather. If it's red, it's Rodimus. I think I have the buttons backwards. And starting the world one. I guess I'll find out. In real life, I've seen a lot of good firefighters, and I want to help and be a part of that. That's the reason why I want to be a junior firefighter. Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Yep, the buttons are in the right place. Oh, and I'm gonna apologize ahead of time for the audio that's gonna jumble up on the Unicron stage, because the Unicron song that I wrote utilizes all 4 of the channels, all 4 of the audio channels minus the DMC sample channel. And what happens is that it conflicts with like the in-game. Maybe I take that off. It conflicts with the in-game sound effects, like the explosions and the audio and the fire. You know what I wanted to do, actually? Maybe I did want to play this as Rodimus. You know what, to tell you the truth, I want to play it as Rodimus. I haven't played it as Rodimus quite as much. So you know what I'll do? Do I have the flight? So I'll get the flight. I will shortcut to the end of the game with Magnus here. How do I get the flight? I have to die here. So if I beat Magnus, or Evil Magnus at this side screen here, then I could work to the end of the game. Not necessarily the end of the game, because of course you have to collect the Alternium cubes to get to the end of the game. Okay, that's what we've got to do here. We just got to get lucky and get a flight power up. Oh my god. Did I beat the level? Okay, no fun. I'm resetting, I'm sorry. I wanted to play through as Rodimus. The only reason is that Rodimus has a different shooting pattern that I've added for him. But pride, I'm just a soldier. I'm not worthy. Take the Matrix or perish. I wanted to add a secret also that you could play as Diaclone Ultra Magnus colors. Not sure if I've done that yet, but I want to do that. So let's say just for fun, I wanted to play the alternate colors. I got a barrier, I got a weapon power up, another barrier. So it's randomized which one is the flight. So if you don't get a flight, yes, there it is. U for Unicron. right? Because we're playing as Rodimus. We're collecting the Alternium Unicron cubes. Oh, evil Rodimus. Go down, Rodimus. So this is the payoff from the Transformers, the movie poster art. It's like Ultra Magnus. Well, it's not Ultra Magnus. It's actually Rodimus that's shooting straight up at Unicron. So it should be easier to defeat Unicron with Rodimus because he can just stand here and shoot directly up. It should be okay. Yeah, if I shoot fast enough, I can get through these enemies. Boom. Unicron, you're nothing. Oh, good night, James. Thanks for joining, man. Good to see you here. Temporal alert. Megatron is defeated. Order to the timeline has been restored. A dark force looms. Collect the Alternium cubes and prepare yourself for all our Sparks. So the concept is to collect. Now you have to collect all the Unicron letters. So you start again, and whatever Unicron letters, like we've collected the U already, so we go through it now and collect those remaining letters. I didn't notice if I got to keep my power up from actually completing the game. So although I collected the U already, it still appears again in this level. I'm planning to recreate the poster art with the toys. Cool. Oh yeah, so this is the cutscene where Scrapper that comes down. Oh, I just noticed because I'm Rodimus, those planets are a different color. Interesting. Interesting. Normally those planets are blue, right? Oh, Goober just posted something on Facebook. Sweet, dude. Oh, I forgot Ultra Magnus doesn't have missiles. Or rather, Rodimus doesn't have missiles. He has the direct firing. Oh. So I was thinking I want to add an additional power-up, like a weapon, like an extra weapon or something. Like, for example, Blaster Master has like those lightning shots and like homing missiles. I could do like a homing missile or something like that. But what would make it fun? Did I miss the letter? This is way better playing with the remote. Who else can you play as in the game? You could so far. You could play as Ultra Magnus. You could play as Diaclone Ultra Magnus. You could play as Rodimus, and you could play as Shattered Glass Rodimus. Is it Shattered Glass Rodimus? No, it's not story. It's not Shattered Glass Rodimus. It's like movie colored Rodimus, like a Hot Rod colored Rodimus. Because Hot Rod, how can I say it? He's like kind of orangey, not orangey. He's kind of it's kind of like a mauve. He's like an off reddish color. And then I created an alternate sprite for Ultra Magnus. that's probably going to be included in the console version only. And then I've also included an Optimus Prime. I've made a truck version of that as well. Like, yeah. So I made the character bot sprite and truck sprites for all Optimus Prime. And then with the recolors, I have like Nemesis Prime, I guess you could say, and well, Evil Magnus hasn't been recolored; it's just the same color. Same color as whatever character you're playing. Because it uses that same sprite color data. Oh no, I got it. H is for health. So H used to be a D in the original game, and D was oh, I just noticed something. So first let me get this guy. There's the eye. Just notice when I'm in truck mode, can I not shoot in all directions? Truck shoots up normally, right? And it's got that. Oh. Interesting. I thought when I move left and right, that it shot horizontally. Maybe not. I thought it would shoot horizontally. Huh. Well, either I intentionally left that out, that's not the game lagging, that's my computer lagging. Did I leave that out intentionally? Why wouldn't he shoot right? I think the reason I left that out intentionally is because then you would hit all the enemies. Like, for example, yeah, that's right, the tank. There's that Blitzwing tank in like the first level. So you could just essentially plow through everything if you were able to shoot horizontally in truck mode. Oh, that's right, one thing I wanted to do, because there's the button combination transformation. You could transform while running, number one, which I think is awesome. But now I can even transform in midair. Huh. Yeah, and it flickers. Yeah, okay, sweet. It's a little bit hard to do like a back, down, back, forward on NES controller. It's a little easier to pull off on a computer. Let's see if I can do it here. Boom, that's how you do it. Oh no, I have two buzzsaws. Buzzsaws are harder to kill. The laser beam, like the laser beam turns into buzzsaw, I think, after one hit. Laser beam turns to buzzsaw, but then buzzsaw takes like 5 hits. I think I made that enemy a little bit too difficult. playing with Rodimus is a little bit more challenging because he doesn't have those missiles, so each shot only hits only one shot gives one hit, right? But with Ultra Magnus you could shoot those missiles and they're worth like 2 hits, or no, they're worth like 3 hits or more. Wait a sec, where is it? Is it here? Down and up. Okay, now I know I left that in there intentionally. Yeah, okay. Here's Uncle Carl of the, I think it's the Meiji Corporation. What the heck happened there? Did you see that? Oh, the explosion sprites. Okay, check that out. So the explosions are all garbled up, so I have to fix the graphics data. So the graphics tile, I've obviously moved things around, and for the Uncle Carl stage, the graphics for the explosions are not in the right spot. There was no power-ups before in this level, so I put a power-up in that. Oh man, I put a power-up in Ratbat there. Because the only characters that normally had power-ups were the Crack, it's called, that bug-looking character. No, sorry. The Seekers, Jetrons had the power-ups only, including like the letters that you have to find. And then I added a health power-up to the bot modes of the Jetrons, also the Blitzwings, and then I added a barrier. I like these enemies that this Decepticon Mark shoots out. They have like directed projectiles. Oh yeah, so which ones had power-ups? So it was just the Jetrons. I added power-ups to the Blitzwing bots and the Jetron bots. I added a Zapdim used to shoot bullets before, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure no. So what I've noticed is those letters, the letters for Unicron are supposed to be orange, if I remember correctly. First level was orange. The Rodimus letters are supposed to be red, and the Unicron letters are supposed to be orange, like orange for Unicron. So that's a bug to check in code. Let's make a note of that. Unicron letter colors. There it is. There we go. So yeah, it's not supposed to be red. It's not supposed to be red. Okay, I'm gonna pause this real quick and check the palette information. PPU viewer. And that's gonna show me. Okay. Well, I guess I could I'll check the first level to see if there's any difference. Oh, there's that explosion. There's that explosion again. You know what? I think I knew about that. I think that's okay. I think I had to remove that explosion because I just ran out of room for the screen. As well as the screen for the Uncle Carl. I've now expanded to much more space, so I'm pretty sure. Oh, come on. I'm pretty sure I can fix that without causing any trouble. What am I saying? Pretty sure. 100%. So, like, how much space? So times 2 times 4. I got 4 times the additional graphical memory space. Yeah, that was me not playing well. Oh yeah, I don't have a power. Is there a letter? There is a letter in this level, right? Yeah. That's the tough one. I forget which level that. Was it the top or the middle one? Oh no, you're kidding me. Oh no, wait. You can still shoot missiles. Yeah, as a truck mode. Okay, right. So we got this guy. Though I just realized these platforms really mess with my eyes. Like it's just my astigmatism. Maybe it's like the time of night. Okay, here we're on to check the color palette. Okay, so it seems like it's using color palette 01. Okay. I think they only shoot if you're at least their height. I think if you're lower than them, it won't shoot you. Oh, do we get a reveal of the new boss? I think we get a reveal of the new boss here. Sweet. If I do this right, though, this is all dependent on if I get all the letters. Okay, we're almost there. Yeah. So I did get the letter. So that's my superhero Karen, cousin Karen. Fairy tale name, KK. Okay, so we're suited up. We have full power-ups. We have all of the Alternium cubes. Ready to face Triptychon. blast. Haha. Still working the sauce for these cutscenes. Yeah, Galvatron. So this is Galvatron. Well, it was pretty much a palette swap. There was a couple of minor changes I did in here, but there you have a Galvatron. That's not going to be in the final game. That was just because I could and because I wanted to know how hard it would have been to just do that. It was harder than I initially thought, but yeah, it wasn't that hard. So now that we've collected all of the Alternium cubes and we've beaten the game as Rodimus, let's see what ending we get here. The boss seemed a little bit short. He seems a little bit easy with Rodimus. So this is the good ending, eh? Okay. Seems to be missing some text. It is missing text. So there's supposed to be text in between here, and it didn't appear. Let me just see what it's supposed to say. Oops. I'm just going to search for that part in the code. Till all I run. How did I write till with one L? So congrats. Oh, okay. That's all I left. Okay, so there was nothing written there yet. That's what it's supposed to be. But why is the score so low? 23. Okay, yeah, the score. That's how low I wrote it. Okay, maybe I was gonna put something in between there, but I never ended up doing that. Whoops. Okay, so all I want is better than congratulations. Just said congratulations with no S at the end there. Okay. Well, I think that about wraps it up. This was impromptu, and I had things I wanted to do, but I never had the chance to get around to doing that, so. I had fun having you guys here talking about this silly stuff we're working on. Where's the audio playing? Oh, this is still playing. Yeah, so I want to put some really cool Transformers music in the end there. Really was dying to put that in, but audio takes up so much space, crazy amount of space. So that's not going to be an issue anymore. Well, I'm going to call it there. Thanks so much for joining. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll have more things coming up this week on the YouTube channel. Definitely YouTube video coming up because I'm going to push for that sponsorship, get some PCBs on the way, and I want to get some community posts, talk about just some stuff that we're doing in the process. Right on. Oh, hey, Ninjatron. Haha. Well, thanks for joining. Well, I'll see you next time then. Well, till all are one, and stay awesome to each other. Ciao.